Eclectic Podcast, Episode 4. I'm here with Age of Adventure.
Hello,
Why-
how are you?
See how I don't put you on the spot?
I was waiting for you to put me on the spot. I'm like, come on, bring it, baby.
It didn't even occur to me. I would never do something so cruel to someone.
You are a decent individual, one of the rare people on Discord that has standards.
I'm glad you've noticed. How did we
Except
meet?
in competition one-shots. Gee.
Oh, yeah, but those, I mean, I was going about 50%. You were going 100%. I didn't want to make you feel bad, so we just did that 1 point just to... How did we
What
meet?
were we saying about not waffling at the start?
No, never waffle. I'm a pancake guy. Do you remember how we met? Like the first time we gamed together?
Wow. You know what? I don't off the top of my head. Refresh.
I'm wondering, it had to have been 2020, 2021, somewhere around then, right? You think?
Oh, yeah, it would have been just after COVID when I started jumping online and seeing all these weird and wonderful people overseas, thinking this is incredible.
Would it be playing your game, or we've run into each other playing something else together? Did you
I'm
come
thinking
to my
maybe
server?
some con maybe brought us together.
I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah, I'm thinking of, I don't know why, I'm thinking of tabletop events. I'm thinking of something you hosted external to this that brought me in here.
Could be. I used Warhorn for a while.
Maybe it was that.
A lot of the
Wouldn't it be? Isn't there a
early
way
stuff,
for my first post to look at my first post on this server?
probably is.
Have you always had the same channels though?
I don't. We'll figure it out. We'll talk about
We
it.
could spend the whole episode doing that.
That's right. Let's move on. But for those listening, I'm Dwight, aka Cursus, and Furiously Eclectic People is a community that I'm currently adminning. But it's an idea I've had for a long time. This idea of bringing people together that are from different backgrounds, different places in life, and have different interests, but we kind of all agree on we want to game and have fun. And I think the gaming table can bring people together, and I like that idea. And I know not everybody likes that idea, but I think it's an idea that works. Age, I'm in Canada. Where in the world are you?
I'm down south of Canada, or north. If you head north, you could probably still reach me as well. But I am in Australia. That's how I really sound, but terrible. Yes, I'm in Australia, and
Seriously Eclectic People.
Ooh, look, it is my favorite Discord server. I will say that because it has some of my favorite GMs, Dwight, Fazul. It has players. They run regular games. That's the other thing. I can easily jump on a game. I can run my games. There's plenty of chat if you want to get involved in chat. I mean, it's just a good community. Like you said, when I first got online, I felt it wasn't very welcoming. I don't know. Could have just been luck, but there were some channels where I would make a comment and they're like, oh, this comment has to go here. Or didn't you read the terms and conditions? And I was like, oh my God. And then the light that is Furiously Eclectic broke through the clouds. And like an angel, Dwight descended. Took me up into his UFO, which is this craft we are in now, folks. Some would say I'm a prisoner. I am here voluntarily. I will say that for legal reasons and to not be tortured.
That's right. Well, you have your own role-playing game.
Yes, I do. I'm the creator of the Age of Adventure RPG, and I also run games here, as I mentioned. I also have my own server, just a little server, not as big as Furiously Eclectic, but we have to aspire. We have to have aspirations. I do aspire to grow.
Your server's focused, and that, I think, to some degree, it's easier to run a server that's focused. But when you're really unfocused, like we are, it's trying to wrangle a community is not that because you generated your own role playing game, and that's hard, and then bringing in people all together is hard too. But it's different when you have a kind of we're a general gaming server, so but yet
Yeah.
we're not
No,
almost no mainstream games.
yeah, I would say that some would even describe your server as eclectic.
Or
Anyway,
see, that's a video thing. Multifarious, we'll go with.
Multifarious. The funny thing is, right, on Furiously Eclectic, I now run I always have run games, but I actually now prefer to run the games and host them on Furiously Eclectic. And it's same wherever I play. I've always now. There was a period there where I was trying to run everything on Age of Adventure, but I think it's easier just to run it on the server that is hosting you. That's one thing I have changed. But and yeah, look, anyone wanting to run games or be in games or just want to chat about many multifarious topics, that's what's really good about your server.
Well, thanks. So, you're making me blush a lot.
It is good, mate. You've done really well.
Well, thank you.
People probably don't tell you, and I know it must be hard.
I appreciate that. Actually, you know what? That is really nice to hear that. I have not. You don't get a lot of feedback in general. It's the same when you make a game or run games and stuff. It's hard to get feedback. It's same with the server. There are a few guys. There's a few. Some of the people who are moderators who have you would know. There's one moderator who can be very outspoken to tell me. And when they said they didn't think they were needed anymore, I was kind of like, oh no, you're the one person who just tells me like it is when I'm doing something wrong, and you got to stay. So that's
I always find
moderators is they're different.
Yeah, I mean, it is again. Look, not to bathe more light on the server, but it is good. I find it seems from the outside looking in that it must be hard for you to manage because there are a lot of sub channels and threads and chats to keep an eye on. And I know you have at times rebuilt it or sort of refined it. It must be a hard juggling act to not be too overwhelming. I think that's something we have spoken about before. When new people join, they say they don't even know where to start because there is so many options.
We've tried so many different ways in organizing it over these few years, but like because you can, not have all the channels shown. But I think what happens is when people try to limit what channels they see, they just end up missing out on stuff. So then you create a new channel in your Age of Adventure category and nobody sees it because they don't have all channels being shown. And then you got to go through the whole hullabaloo again. And I think ultimately
I don't know the answer.
No, I don't have the answer either. I think ultimately Discord is not intuitive, and I love our community. I love Discord. I've really embraced it, but you got to accept the idea that it's not super intuitive for people.
Yeah, I mean, I'm on a lot of servers and I haven't seen anything where, oh, this seems really streamlined. The only thing I have, and it's beyond my Discord powers, but I have seen some servers where and I don't know if you've set this up the same, but you enter and there is only one channel and it's like a welcome channel, like it's like almost like a lobby. But then when you go in that channel, you have a look and you choose what you want to see. And only when you choose, I don't know if it's a role or however, but only once you select it, then it opens up the other channels.
Yeah.
So rather than have all the channels and work backwards, I've got to hide this and go through the channels, it somehow just opens the doors that you want to go in.
Yeah, and I think what they built that into Discord now, so you can set up the onboarding process, and when somebody comes in, they go through a process. But again, you end up with that same problem where they only have a small amount of channels, and that's much easier for them to navigate. But then somebody's like, "Hey, I'm running the game over here," and they're like, "Where? I can't find that channel."
Look, that has happened to me. Yeah, I mean, the ones that I've joined, I pretty much only, if there's multiple things to choose, I don't join any of the chat or discussions or anything because I pretty much use Furiously Eclectic for that. I just join the looking for game, running a game, run those. But sometimes they'll link something and it'll say, like, it'll have a hashtag unknown. And I'm like, oh, what the hell's that? And they're linking to a channel I haven't accepted as a role, so I can't actually see you know what, and then I have to do a screenshot and say, I'm sorry, I don't know what what you're saying. So there is a downfall to. Yeah, I don't have the answer, but that's one thing I have seen some channels do, like lobby.
Yeah, we'll have to go. I'm going to go over the onboarding again, but before I don't want to keep going down that route. Let's. I really want to ask you about Age of Adventure, because I don't even think I've had this conversation with you. But
Yeah.
what was the initial, like, that first moment when you started thinking, I'm going to make my own role playing game?
Oh, I think I have told you this story. The Lasers and Feelings Japanese game.
I don't know.
Does that ring a bell?
No.
So I basically, after COVID, I decided to join online gaming. Oh, sorry, during COVID, online gaming, because I couldn't play in real life. And I decided I'm just going to try and play as many different games. I mean, my eyes were open. I was pretty much, before that, what did I play? Top Secret, Recon, bit of Pathfinder, maybe a bit of D&D. Just whatever mainstream ones you could buy physically in the local game store that we had. There was nothing online. It was always in person. And then once online opened, I was like, there's so many role-playing games. So I started joining all different games, and I joined a game I didn't know anything about it, called Lasers and Feelings. And most of the games up until that point, looking back, I would say I played mainly crunchy games. And there was a lot of prep, and if you were GMing it, there was a lot of stuff you had to do in between, and character management and all that sort of stuff. So I was playing more the heavy games. All this indie rules light, I'd never played anything like it. So I played Lasers and Feelings, and it was a Japanese, set in like Japanese feudal society. And straight away, I was like, wow, it was like the system, something just gelled me with the system. I was blown away that you could have essentially one stat and that could control all of your dice rolls. And after it, I thought, I used to play, and I still do, Fighting Fantasy game books. So I used to play Fighting Fantasy games. I still read them now, and I always liked that system, the world of Fighting Fantasy. And I thought to myself, I wonder if, and I used to play the Fighting Fantasy role-playing game as well. So I was very familiar with that. And I thought, I wonder if I could convert Fighting Fantasy role-playing game to Lasers and Feelings. And I actually created a Lasers and Feelings hack, because I learned there was a community for Lasers and Feelings where you can make hacks. And I saw there was a lot of fantasy hacks. And so I created a Fighting Fantasy Lasers and Feelings hack called, and if you're one of the rare few that have been following my progress, and you can find a copy of that somewhere, it's probably worth a lot of money. It was called Fantasy and Fighting. How's that for a original name?
I love it.
So I put, Fighting and Fantasy, because I remember I just put an ampersand in the middle. I just put an ampersand in the middle, and I created
the ampersand
essentially
would get you in trouble.
Yeah, well, you would think that was, but it ended up being the words Fighting and Fantasy in that order that got me in trouble, because I created it. I ran a game online using just these bare bones, similar to Might and Mind that I use now with the one stat, just based in the Fighting Fantasy world. And speaking of Reddit, someone actually sent me a link to Reddit where someone was talking about the game, saying I'm going to be sued by Ian Livingstone and Steve Jackson, because apparently they were saying they're very, is the word litigious? Litigious?
Yeah, that's the word.
That word, yeah. And so that was my entry into Reddit, and so I got scared. So I redid everything, and I renamed it Age of Adventure. Got rid of all the Fighting Fantasy references, because I literally was referencing their game world, their monsters, all that, the skill, the stamina, everything.
But they
was
never
pretty
said
much
anything. You never actually got anything official. It's just
No, I never actually got anything. But I thought, because I thought, I could really do something with this, because I was playtesting it with people in person at the time. And then I ran a few games online. Oh no, I did it online initially. Then after COVID, So in about 2020, we started running it in person. So for a few years, and then in 2022, it sort of merged. It sort of not merged, but morphed into Age of Adventure, and then hasn't looked back. So essentially, the only thing we've added is that through all the playtesting, we bolted on more rules onto the. Have you played Lasers and Feelings?
No, other than Age of Adventure, I've not.
Oh,
I've
okay.
Never,
So
I
Lasers and
downloaded
Feelings,
it, but I haven't.
yeah,
Played it.
is pretty much the only thing that is. I mean, Age of Adventure is clearly built on Lasers and Feelings because Lasers and Feelings has the one number and then a sliding scale of over or under determining two opposites, so might or mind or brawn and brains, those two things, and the successes. So 1 success, 2 successes, the helping, the bonus dice that you get from helping or preparing or having an item gives you a bonus dice to the dice pool, but that's it. Everything else we've added is basically Age of Adventure on top of that course. One thing I remember when I...
Go ahead.
Sorry?
I was
going to say one thing I remember when I created it. More like with the play testers, I was getting feedback from them. It'd be good if we could add this and this and that. And so my playing group, which Pete is part of that, he was part of the original play group who helped with the feedback. And what was I going to say? I forgot what I was going to say now. No, it's left me. What was I just talking about before? I was going to mention something. Saying
the stuff you've bolted on, make it.
Yeah.
That's not lasers.
But anyway, yeah. So it. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I remember actually when I thought I'll put it on itch because then I learned about itch and all that sort of stuff. On John Harper's website, as part of his Creative Commons, you had to mention that this game was a derivative or based on Lasers and Feelings. Put the Creative Commons.
I would not. So I would never have guessed that your origins were fighting fantasy based on when we encountered and I started playing. I would not have saw that, and even now I don't see any connection. But it's interesting to me because of course I had the same history. Although I didn't play the fighting fantasy role playing game, of course I played the game books when I was young.
Yeah. I mean, I ran Fighting Fantasy, Advanced Fighting Fantasy, in person before COVID for 10 years. We did a 10-year campaign of Advanced Fighting Fantasy. And then it all fell apart through COVID. Literally COVID, as I suppose the bad side was, all of my in-person campaigns and all of those heavier type games that we used to spend, you'd play it on the weekend and you spend all week just working on it or doing stuff with it.
Yeah.
That's how it rolled. It seemed normal. That all went away and it became online pretty sort of dominated. Even now, I only play in person once a month.
But you're not? Are you in any campaigns?
Yeah, I'm in Age of Adventure campaign. Tavis is running.
Interesting.
Yeah, you've played with Tavis.
Oh yeah, Tavis is great. I like it when he comes over and runs stuff or plays.
Yeah. So he runs a game once a month. We meet up in either the local RSL or the library around here.
But that's interesting.
We're actually looking for a player.
You're a player in you're a player in a campaign on a system you designed. And
yes, now that I think of it, very fortunate.
But I was talking to Dirk Stanley, and that's a pseudonym, but he's the author of Faraway Land. He also has a local guy that's around him that runs a campaign of Faraway Land that he's a player in. Like, I don't know how often I know he runs it, but you always hear about the campaign he's a player in, and that's how they test.
Does he stream that?
No, it's in real life.
Oh, in person.
It's a local thing.
I'm surprised he doesn't play in your one. Has he ever guested in your one?
No, I never really thought. I could ask him or Jason. Jason's the GM, and me and Jason have some different views about how Faraway Land should work, but I think fundamentally it's not an issue.
Hey, your 250th.
I could
special.
See they would make it.
Yes.
Oh well, you can't. I want it to be a surprise. Shish.
Oh,
Anyway, I don't
well,
know if they do it
luckily
or
this
not.
is
I don't know if
a,
Dirk even likes playing online, so I don't know. I'd have to
imagine that
ask.
as a surprise if he jumped on.
Oh my gosh. He's offered to do like I've probably told you this before. Like I went to him saying I want to pay you and commission you to make artwork for my
Yeah,
campaign, and he did it all for
yeah, you
free.
mentioned.
And I was ready to
Yeah.
pay, and he didn't want any money. He just said it was fun to do it, and he was so happy we were playing his game. And he offered, and I haven't taken him up on it yet, but he offered to make special miniatures just for my party, the party in the game. So I got to send him the
Wow.
descriptions, and he says he'll make the STL files, and I bought a 3D printer just for it,
Oh,
and
what?
so that's the plan.
Oh my
But I won't get it. I won't get him
God.
done by the 250th. But I have the plans.
I
He
remember when
always
you told me
you worry
about
about it
him,
all
so
come
I didn't
crashing
know.
down.
Yeah, I didn't know of him until you mentioned that he created it, etc. But I looked up on YouTube and he was in a few videos because I wanted to see what
He
he
does
was like.
some.
And he does some crazy stuff, man.
Yeah, he does
Because all the
some
pictures he
interviews and
draws and
such.
creates.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, I like he's done a second set of artwork for Faraway Land that's really gritty and like kind of
Oh,
yeah, it's totally different kind of style to like the actual published stuff. And
different
it's he
setting? Because it seems
no,
very comic.
yeah, it's the same setting, just different style. I think if he revises the second edition, he's going to maybe change the art. I don't know. I don't want to speak for him.
Hasn't the second edition already kickstarted?
Yeah, well, second edition's already out, but I think there's
It's
some
done. Yeah.
revisions they need to make. Yeah, to that they only changed a few things that affect the mechanics, and one of them was magic. Magic is completely different now, but it's still compatible in that you like in our campaign we use both first and second edition magic. So there's two
Oh,
systems of magic run, and we have no issue with it. So they're both
it's
compatible. They are
interesting.
different though. I think magic is a very plug and play part of role playing games, and a lot of role playing games
Hmm.
anyway. Not all of them,
I
but
hear. I remember hearing on a podcast they were running D&D 5. Is it 5e the new one or 2024? And they were
5.0, yeah,
using magic from two
5.0.
different.
Yeah.
Yeah, some were using magic from 2024. Some characters were using magic from 2014. There was 3 different systems of magic, and they were able to run that in a game. And I was thinking, how? Because surely, I don't know, if there's going to be a revision in magic, surely something will be broken in the previous magic that wouldn't be compatible.
I mean that's all D&D magic. I don't know. I couldn't speak on that. Maybe. Depends. I guess some spells are nerfed here and some spells are more powerful there. Because I remember, that does remind me. I remember a guy who grew up playing with us, playing like old school D&D, and he went off to the city and he was playing whatever, who knows, might have been fifth edition. But it was third edition. It was during kind of the later heydays of third edition, and he came back to play first edition with us, and he cast Burning Hands, and he thought it was going to launch fire across the room. But the original Burning Hands just set your hands on fire, right? You had to still go up and touch somebody or something. And he got so
Yeah.
mad. He was like, "Oh, they nerfed the spell," and I'm like, "Well, they didn't nerf it. This was the original spell." Well, I don't
But
know if
had
it
they
was the
changed it?
original. I think it was more powerful in third edition.
Ah, well, there's an example. If you don't keep track, yeah, I don't
I
know. I
shouldn't say
often hear,
original. It was weaker in first edition than in third edition. I can't remember if it was even in OD&D or if it was less or more
mm.
powerful. It was probably
So
more
you don't
vaguely
play in
described.
person though, do you? You just play online
Yeah,
or
I
remote.
had a similar kind of thing. I didn't have a 10-year campaign, but what we did have was in kind of an ongoing uh, every February and every August, we'd get together and do a full weekend of gaming, a Friday night game, Saturday morning, Saturday
Oh,
afternoon, Saturday evening, Sunday morning games. And we do that twice a year. And we'd always have the same, like a lot of them were just the same campaigns. So there's
right.
always at
Well,
least
where would you
one that
go?
was
You like hire a place or
no, we do it at my house.
everyone was stay over.
Yeah, everybody would crash at the house. Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
So it was a big gaming weekend. Bunch of friends that grew and lessened depending, and maybe their family members would come, and sometimes in August we'd have there's a festival going. We'd always what's funny is that we actually did it for years, and then we realized that it's really noisy on Saturdays when we're playing, and it was like
Yeah.
years before we realized there's a festival in the town that I was living in going on around us, and so then it became a thing where we'd have a pile of people on Saturday, and then we just have like the people who are staying over Friday and Sunday, but Saturday we'd get a bunch of people.
Oh,
It
extra people to play.
uh I mean, yeah, sometimes because we'd also
Mm.
incorporate horseshoes and other things, other than tabletop gaming.
Oh, okay.
And
Yeah.
there might have been
We
copious
actually
amount of
used
wobbly
to.
pops.
Yeah. I don't even know what that is, but it sounds fun.
The Canadian version of alcoholic beverages.
Ah, okay. Wobbly pop. It sounds
Wobbly
like a
pop.
soft.
Exactly. So it's like having a soft drink would be a pop here. So soda pop.
Yes.
And
And what's the
yeah.
wobbly part? The alcohol.
Well, that's the alcohol. Yeah. Makes you wobbly. Makes you wobbly when you
Yeah.
drink a bunch.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
I'm with you. Now, we used to, when we were running the campaign, we used to have we probably did it 3 or 4 times. We used to have an annual, similar to what you're saying, where we'd have a weekend where we would just do gaming, whole weekend gaming, but we'd also bring board games and, people would run, I'd run a game and someone else would run a game, but we'd actually find a place, we'd hire a place or someone's holiday house and we do that. But it's another thing that since COVID disappeared.
Yeah, well, we were talking about that. We had actually, for like the last couple of years we were doing it, we were looking around at running like a weekend convention as opposed to just doing it at my house. And we had
Mm.
just started the process of picking out what place. There's a few of us, and it just didn't happen. And then COVID happened, and I just started online gaming, and I never looked back. I love
So
online
similar.
gaming, but
Yeah.
I've fully embraced. I love it. I would still play in real life, but online, I don't have to clean my house. I don't have to travel anywhere. I don't have to,
Yeah.
carry books around. I don't have to make sure people have food. There's so many things I don't have to worry about, and I get to play with people all over the world. It doesn't matter what
Yeah.
time you start the game. I can play indie games like very easily, and
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh, look,
it,
I'm on your side as well. If I had the choice, if I had to drop one or the other, I would drop in person without even thinking, stick to
mm,
online. But I don't know if we are in the majority because most people
no.
I speak with say, nah, online is nothing compared to in person. They would choose in person over on.
Yeah, I think that's the
Uh,
case too. That's my experience as well, is that most people prefer, if they can do it in person, they'd rather be in person. I'm not sure I understand the psychology of it personally.
oh well, two of the players who we've got in our in person campaign, even when we offer, oh, do you want to just try and get a session in online? Nope. Play in
What's
person.
what's interesting though is that some of the people I know who play in real life have no problem with setting up a laptop and somebody zooms in at their table, and so it's still in real life, but
That's
somebody is always not there. They're still.
really, we've tried that. I hate that.
I've
We've
never
tried that
tried
on
it, but
speaker.
but I know somebody who did that for a while, and I
Yeah.
thought that was only something in like what was it? One of those Nodwick or Knights of the Dinner Table type things. I can't remember
No,
which one.
when we had the campaign, because people, have to be there, have to be there. If they couldn't make it, we were doing all sorts of crap, like having streaming them, putting a speakerphone. We even bought like a conference phone, but it just doesn't work. It just technically, everything breaks up, or they keep saying, "Oh, sorry, what was that?" Or we can't hear them, and it was so disjointed. I made the decision: if you're not present, you're not in. But
Yeah.
yeah, we tried all that. It's like we were talking earlier. Sometimes online can be clunky. The more layers you add, VTT and
Mhm.
extra things on, the more chances you've got of something just
Well,
crashing. And
yeah, like you say. So you mentioned that, and I always think about, and I think about this in other aspects of my life too. Like when you buy a machine or you buy, whatever you're looking at, how many points of failure do you have? So the less points of
mm,
failure, to me, the stronger you are moving forward.
Mm,
So I think as you add
yeah.
those things, and I think that happens in real life too. There's a lot of points of failure because if everybody's driving separately, everybody's car is a point of failure, and there's all these other things. But
100%. I mean, I still do in person. I like it because you get to be together and stuff. But like I said, if I had to choose, online just has all those benefits you mentioned. I would tick. They're big ticks.
and maybe that like if you don't have, well, I see, I don't know this. I'd have to sit and talk to somebody who really preferred to. I'd have to get them online and interview them about why they liked in person better.
That'd be funny. Yeah, I don't know. It's yeah, in person's good, but online. I mean, I do like rolling physical dice, although some.
I do. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I know your answer, but what's your thoughts on when you're running games, players saying wanting to just roll their own dice?
No issue.
No public
whatsoever.
result.
Yeah, I don't care.
I don't know. I think it's because I don't like it. My trust levels are 0 for starters, either deliberately or they're just incompetent. But I remember playing in a game, literally it was with Peter, and that person did not fail to roll the whole. They chose to roll their own dice, so no one could see it. No failed rolls the whole time, and it just irritated me. Now I don't know whether it just could have been the fact that they didn't, but you need 20. Oh, I rolled a 20. Okay.
Sometimes it's obvious, right? Like I feel like some people have trouble hiding it. So I played in 2020, in 2021. I was in a Call of Cthulhu campaign, and it was fantastic. It was a great campaign, Spawn of Azathoth, with a bunch of stuff, and it was run by Michael Mirth. I don't know if you know him. He was originally Paul Burdick. He
heard the name.
He was in the Old School Gaming. He published some stuff, and I as a sad word, he is in a assisted living facility right now. He just, as far as I know, cancer has kind of caught up with him. So anybody listening, good time to send your thoughts to Michael Mirth. He was a fantastic GM and a good friend.
Very good.
But he was running this, and there was one player, and we played on Zoom. And we always played on Zoom, and everybody was on camera. But there was one player, and I won't name them or anything. And he cheated. Like and everybody knew he was cheating, and nobody cared. Like it just.
How did you know though?
You just felt it. I think you could just.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's what.
And he didn't lose any important rolls. If he failed a roll, it was a roll that didn't matter.
Oh, strategic.
I think so. Yeah. I mean, I didn't analyze it, and I'm not poking fun at the player. If he was listening,
but isn't it so much better when it's public results? It's so much more exciting for everyone.
So as a GM, for me, I roll a lot of dice on the table. But if the dice I roll are killing a character, I will re-roll them publicly. That's the only time as a GM I'm very sure that I always roll my dice publicly, is because I don't want to kill a character secretly. If we're gonna if this might kill you, I want you to see the roll yourself, and I would do that in real life too. Like if I'd killed a character with a die roll, I would lift the screen or whatever and make sure. But
public roll. I agree. As a GM, I agree with.
But as a player,
but you don't run any game. I know you do run. Yeah, you run games at the moment where you actually say at the start, "You're welcome to roll," because you always seem to have the dice roll.
I don't think I make an announcement most games. But
no, you don't advertise.
Fazul tends to do that, so I don't care. I think in part because my gaming has changed to a state that if you were making stupid choices with your character, your rolls aren't going to save you. So what you choose to do is more important than the die rolls in some cases. But on the other side, where it does matter, like we were doing a one shot, and if you wanted to cheat and succeed all the time, I mean, if that's your fun, as long as it's not ruining anyone else's fun, I don't care.
I think that's it. That's the part. It would ruin my fun. It's a hard one. Yeah. I mean, you're not going to, if the GM offers it, I'm not going to say, no, I'm going to leave. But I always think, really? And the majority of people don't cheat. I'm sure the majority of people play it.
I love failing my dice rolls, like especially in if Fazul will probably listen to this at some point. I love failing in his games. I love to see what's going to happen to my character when I critical
He
fail.
doesn't like it. I don't think he's the sort of GM that likes someone spiraling into death.
No,
You know.
he'll do what he tends to try to save
Yeah.
you. Yeah, but because
Yeah,
I've
I
let
get
him,
the feeling as well.
and because I say this to you because I've said this to him, and I said I've actually actively tried to die in his games, and he has been far more deadly with me since I told him that. I have died in his games. Yeah.
Oh, right.
So telling him
Okay.
did change it for me, but I still push the envelope because he has that epic style. So I want to either
Yeah.
win gloriously or die gloriously. I don't want to just eke out the game.
His games are good.
But that brings me
They're
to one
very
thing I
epic.
wanted to talk to you because we were talking on your podcast. And one thing was that high success rate versus the low success rate. You were talking about how the
Oh,
index card, you had the high success and
yeah.
how we compared that to the like one shot RPG where in Fazul, where he's got, at least 50% chance like if of success. So you always high chance of success versus that gritty dungeon crawl or just a gritty even recon style game where one
Mm,
bullet could take you out. And Traveler's like that. Classic Traveler, one bullet could take you out. But do
mm.
you have a preference?
You know what? Like you mentioned, we were talking about the ICRPG, and as a player, I really enjoyed succeeding because I was doing things. It was an 80s action, and you are the hero. So for that style of game, I did enjoy it. And now that I think about it, I actually don't like games I've played in where it was too hard to succeed. Like for Mothership, I think pretty much Mothership. Even though I play a lot of it, every time it always seems like I don't want to roll the dice because everything you're always under 50%. Pretty much
Yeah.
all the time, and you sort of avoid trying to do anything. Well, I do because I'm like, you're either gonna most likely going to fail and just increases your stress. Is it?
Yeah.
But then that's the style of game. So, I don't know. Like it's hard. If I had to choose, I'd probably rather games that have higher success. Player. You?
Interesting. Yeah. I don't think I have a preference between the two. I think that they're both. I don't want to fall in the middle. Probably. I think I like that extreme grit and then that high epic, and maybe I still like the middle. But they both have a place. Like you said about that
Mm.
80s thing. I've had that feeling when we did that John Wick game and other games Fazul's run. I've gotten to do things. I've been able to do things that I've never thought I could do in a game, and then they've been so much fun. But I also love that fear of what's around the corner, that I'm going to die any second. I got to be careful and make wise choices or work together as a team to get an advantageous kind of situation because battles we're all going to die if we fight this.
Yeah. I think you're right. It depends on the scenario, like what the feel is. But let me ask you a question sort of tied to that. Do you like playing games where it is put up front that this game is about you dying? Like it's nihilistic in the event that don't try, you're not going to win.
I think so, but I don't know that I've played enough of them. What was it, the game I played a game a little while ago where
Cthulhu
they
Dark?
did it was yeah, what'd you say?
Cthulhu Dark is
It
where
wasn't Cthulhu Dark.
was it
It
Cthulhu
was
Dark?
adjacent to that, or something similar to that,
Oh,
though.
hang on. It's on the top of your head. It's something gold. Trophy Dark.
Yes, that's it. Exactly right. Trophy Dark. So
Yes.
that would be one where we were told ahead of time, and I did enjoy that. But I need to play it again because I feel like I want to see it with a different group of people. Is this like a universally going to be good, or was that just I had a good group of players? You know what I
I've
mean?
played it once. Yeah, I've played it once as well. Um, the reason I ask is that I like having an objective where I know I can win.
Hmm.
I don't like games where I know it doesn't matter what you do, you're going to die. So just play the game and then come up with a good way to be happy dying. Because I played in some games where, like Cthulhu, Trophy Dark was one of them. He said right at the start, he said, "Don't expect to live." Okay, this game. But as soon as he said that, I'm like, why am I even doing this? I have to sort of role play that my character, well, doesn't know, but I know that I'm going to have to think of how I'm going to end. It just didn't seem like it was an objective that was worth playing, because I did die at the end, and there was no way you couldn't defeat the bad guy. There was nothing you could do. There was basically, you just had to narrate how death for your character was, narratively suitable. I didn't like, and also I played in some Cthulhu games where I know Cthulhu. I mean, look, there is a high chance of death, but I don't like when the GM. I've been in games where I've been in a situation, and he hasn't said at the start that there's no way of living. But I remember playing one game at a con, and I had all this dynamite rigged up and everything, and he gave me some chance to roll. It was like 10% or something. I got the roll using, because you can use is it not hero points?
Fate points or
there's
something.
There's a meta currency, luck or something.
Yeah, something like that.
And even though I got it, he said, "Nah." He goes, "You can't. Everyone dies. Like you can't win." And like, come on, man. Same with Mothership. That happens in some Mothership games. Like they're like, no, everyone dies. You just have to think of how your characters.
So my problem is my experience with that hasn't been the same as what you're describing. So that Trophy Dark was the same experience. I enjoyed it, but I had it with this. I'm not sure about it yet, and the book is really hard to buy. So I want to play it again before I go hunting down this rule book that's expensive and hard to find. But with Mothership, I've played that a number of times. We had the monthly campaign on here for a while, and every session was preceded by, this is a super deadly game. There's probably you're all going to die and just make a new character and all this. Nobody ever died.
True. That can happen. Yeah.
And so I ran into, I'm being warned about this, but nobody's dying. And so I don't feel like it's a deadly system by nature. And that just wasn't my experience. And Call of Cthulhu, I find very just different by GM, right? Like one GM, nobody dies. This GM, everybody dies. Like it just, and you can have a GM where he's saving everybody, and then suddenly, because the story wants it to go this way, you're gonna die.
Yeah, no, I agree with Mothership. I often find in games I've played that the GM or the players just during the game forget about the stress mechanic and the fact that it's supposed to be escalating to a point where you're going to fail. A lot of GMs concentrate on the roles, but the whole stress thing sometimes feels like the player has to remember they failed and increase. Like there's a lot for the GM to manage, to remember to add the stress and then call for the I've played in some games with panic, or like stress never goes past 4 or 5, and you're like, I'm sure we've missed something here.
Yeah, I don't want to pick on Mothership too much, but I found the whole stress mechanic was failing because the results of panic never mattered. And in what I've played, generally, whatever the results of panic were something that would affect you in a long-term campaign. But in this one shot we're playing, or in this monthly game even, which was strung together, like it wasn't one shots per session, but we'd play an adventure and play it out over multiple sessions. Then we play a new adventure with the only thing that was the same was the ship. Might be with different players, but they all had the same ship. So it was the story of this ship. And,
so failing panic is not bad.
I mean, I didn't find it like, I stopped worrying about it. I would lean into it. And the only way it mattered is because I role played the stress. It didn't seem to me, I don't want to sit and pick, because there are going to be people listening to this that are going to love Mothership, and I enjoy Mothership. I'll play it anytime.
I enjoy the scenarios too. Yeah, too. I mean, it's like I said, it's one of those games where I try not to roll anytime I get a chance to get through the scene without rolling.
Did you play the Chainsaw game I ran? I forget.
Chainsaw.
It was like a modern.
Was that the one where it started up as one and then it ended up as like a sort of a dungeon crawl underneath? I think I did. Chainsaw RPG?
Yeah. It was in beta test from a Kickstarter, and it's a horror game based on the Mercboria system.
Yes.
And it had this kind of spiraling fear, stress, panic that all had, what's the word? They're all connected. So you ended up in kind of a domino or snowball effect. As one mechanic got triggered, it would trigger another mechanic, and there was like 3 different mechanics that were banging along. that spiraled. And I
Did
think
we die?
I don't remember, to be
I don't think
honest.
we finished it.
We finished it.
Or, did we finish it? Because I remember for that game particularly, I remember
You know what?
it started out as one game because I think it was at a cafe or a restaurant. It was a hotel. It was some
station.
Location. It was a gas station, some location, but then it was like a two-part. One part was the gas station, and then it went on. I think it was underground. Or was into another. Was it another dimension? It just seemed two different games.
Yeah, you were in it, as was Tavis and Dave and Bonus Man. That was the end of 2024.
What happened?
Let's see.
You get through it?
Cursed Ritual.
Just while you're looking at that, I feel really bad about the creator of that game because that was just when I joined maybe Instagram, and I still don't use Instagram that often. And then literally a year or two later, I saw a message, and it was from the creator of Chainsaw RPG saying, "Thanks for playing my game. Can you give me some feedback?" And I'm like, oh my God. Literally, it was 2 years later I saw this message.
Oh, man. Oh, that's too bad. Oh, wow. It must have been posted. You must have posted that you played it, right?
Maybe I did. I probably tagged the game or something.
Yeah, well, he has his own Discord, and when we played our game, you guys gave me a bunch of feedback, and you had given me and I gave him all that feedback, so he had it anyway. And a lot of
have
it
you played it since?
No, and it still hasn't fulfilled the Kickstarter yet. But you guys did finish. You found a cursed ritual dagger that helped lead you to what stopped you from leaving, and then you killed it with fire because you guys were trapped, and you needed to. I don't know. I don't even remember the adventure.
Yeah, but I remember some dimensional.
The failing was sort of required to move the plot forward. So without the failing and the near death experiences, you aren't pursuing like the moving the plot forward.
Yeah, the escalating tension, things like that, and Mothership seems complicated. I mean, I showed you the ICRPG on the previous one. Just having the difficulty number of the scenes go up, that almost has that same effect of making things harder without the tracking of anything. And it's funny, and I've never had that before at any game. Like, I've never seen scenes have a target number. I don't know if that's just an ICRPG thing.
It might be, but I have seen people use something, or at least I think newer systems are starting to use that idea of artificially ratcheting up the difficulty as the adventure goes on. But we talked in your podcast about my Dastardly Misjump adventure. And one thing that I had thought about prior to that is, how do I escalate tension? And what I found when I ran it was I don't. The players do. You know, you can try to, but you've got 4 hours. And I usually portray like these one shots as you either escape or fulfill your obligation by the 4 hours, whatever you're trying to do, or you fail and you lose, or you all die. Like there's a repercussion. So as the time is going on, as a player, you got to be wary that that sort of starts to escalate things. But
what you're saying is the fact that there's a time limit makes players act more erratically, or that builds the tension.
I think it helps or aids in that, but by emphasizing it, not because sometimes people run a one shot and their one shot is, we're going to go through this adventure as far as we go. Like, we're going to play some old school dungeon like Rapanathik or Temple of Elemental Evil or something, and we're going to just do whatever we can do in 4 hours. Well, that's not going to ratchet up any tension. But if you drop them into one of those old school dungeons that does have a mechanic where you're going to die in 2 hours if you don't get out of this dungeon, and you just say it's a real-time timer, so if you guys are chatting, time's still ticking away, and at the end of 2 or 3 or 4 hours, you're all dead if you don't escape.
Yeah. It does. It's like the Dragonbane tournament. I felt that the timer was, not to mention the war, but I felt the timer made it more exciting because you're trying to do as much as you can as well. Yeah.
That was a hard adventure.
I don't know. I think, yeah.
But yes.
Oh, yeah. Look.
Because you're playing for points. I want to do that. I actually talked to Omega Ohm about it afterward, and the impression I got, I won't say exactly what he said. The impression I got is that it was more trouble than it was worth to try to do the multi-session tournament thing. But I still want to do it. Like I saw what he did, and I thought, what a fun idea. And not that I think I can do it any better, but I think like just taking an old school.
Oh, that game, that module.
No, I don't want to run that adventure.
Oh, right. Just a tournament, a tournament style with points.
I found an old first. I think it's either first edition or anyway, old school D&D that's from some convention, that like some little convention maybe in California or something, that wasn't like an official tournament module. I found one and I want to run it. And it's got this point system. So each class has a different table for points. And so if you're a monk, you have this table and you have these goals. And if you're a fighter, you have these goals. So you have opposing goals.
Individual goals.
For points, yeah. And like, so, some people have to kill a specific person to get the big points. Some people have to heal. Some people have to find this specific treasure. But everybody gets points for the most rooms. So the more rooms you check, of course, the more points you get. It's
as a team, concept. Or you're saying
both. There's team and individual, yeah. I think it'll be fun.
How do you score the party? Based on the individual achievements or the team achievements, or both?
Both. Oh, well, how do you score the party? I have no idea. I'd have to sit and look at it. It's individual scoring. So yeah, I think I'd have to look it up.
No, what I mean is, are you saying that it's a tournament where the players are against each other trying to score the most in the game, or the players are playing as part of that adventure, get a total score, and then another party will play it and get their own score?
That's a good question. You're good at the questions. I would have to look. I know
because the reason I ask is like that means if someone was running that at a con and it was party versus party, they'd have to run that game multiple times. In that,
yeah. Well, I think So I think there'd be a winning player, or you could say an MVP.
Oh, so it is you are competing.
Yeah, I think you're competing with each player. I would have to look it up, and I would take me a few minutes to find it, and we're probably running out of time.
I mean, I prefer I'm more a team player, so I prefer having the team objective. Why laughing? Why insert laughing?
I'm just remembering expired coffee beans, talking about you leaving her in a cave to die.
Has she ever recovered from that? Hi to expired coffee beans if you're listening. I hope I didn't cause you too much trauma.
She's still on the server. She might listen. Gosh, I can't find the. Oh, is that it? There it is. I found it. So.
Oh.
So anybody listening can comment. It's Temple of the Silver Moon is the adventure I'm looking at running. And I never looked at the team part of it, but I mean, clerics, fighters, magic users, thieves all have different points. So, like the clerics don't get any points for killing a druid, but a fighter gets points for killing a druid. That kind of thing. And
yeah, that's what I mean. So are you pooling your points to getting a total for the party, or you're just competing against the other?
That's a good question. I think you would still add up the whole party's points. You would have an internal team competition, so you'd have an individual competition plus a party competition. So you could add them all together. Because
I like the idea. I mean, I don't know if this is how it works, but what I like about what you're saying is if I compare it to the only other tournament game I've played, which is the Dragonbane game, the Dragonbane game had an objective and they were pretty much scenario objectives. So as long as someone in the party did that, you would get the points. And as long as you survived, you would also get a point, which is, I suppose, how you can contribute. But what I like about what you're saying is that it's almost got two ways to get points. Yes, there'll be scenario objectives, which are part of the scenario, but the more you can play your character and get the objectives that are for your character, the more you're contributing to the total score of the party. So being a good player or being a good character is actually benefiting your party. Whereas the other way, it was like, well, it doesn't really matter who does what as long as it gets done.
That's right.
I like
Yeah.
the fact that, yeah, as a character, okay, I need to focus on A, B, C if I want to maximize my team's point. That's
Right.
great.
So I have run one
Do it.
other tournament module on the server. I ran Words
Oh,
of Witching Ways, which was a tournament, and it had team and individual scoring. So separate things like, you lose a point if a bell falls to the team, but individual gets bonus points if they're the first one to discover an image is an illusion, that kind of thing. So that that's in the event reports there. I ran it with, it's written for AD&D first edition, but I ran it with Faraway Land, but I used the tournament scoring because
yeah.
the rules
It's
didn't
good. I
matter
mean,
for me.
it sounds like you also like using existing scenarios but converting it to whatever rule system you're comfortable with or you like using. Yeah. I'm finding I'm
Very
doing
much
more
so,
of
yeah.
that as well.
I've
I know you talk
noticed,
about
yeah.
your. Yeah, it's just not only people are more familiar with those properties, but it is a good challenge to overlay like the system you're familiar with. You
Yeah.
just tinker with it. Probably do less work. Yeah, I would probably say it is less work because you've got the existing premise there. But I do find that you end up tweaking a lot of it. I don't know how you find it if you convert to failed, run it
I
as
think
written. It's sort of
so. I think what I've found, because I've done it a lot with Legendary Adventure, and I did it a lot with Faraway Land now. And I think it's a matter of, if you're so comfortable with the system, you're almost seeing the world like the Matrix. Like, if have you ever had that where you look around and you look at, or you just look at your group of friends, how would you stat them in your role playing game? Like, some games you can't. Like, it doesn't have the right mechanics to stat average people or normal people or even extraordinary people. And of course, you always kind of exaggerate your strengths, right? When you're doing that. But some systems lean into that, or take that a lot better, or a lot. I don't know how to say that with better English. Take that in a
oh, don't
better
look at
way.
me.
Um, Bloody English speaking
so,
countries, we don't know anything.
so you're saying you don't change the modules much? You just you bolt on the system, or you do change?
Done both. It depends what my goal is. If my goal is to see if this will work, then I don't change anything. If I'm including it in my campaign, yeah, I completely do things. However, because Faraway Land as a role playing game has this kind of multiverse thing kind of built into it, it's very easy. And Earth exists in the universe of Faraway Land. You can easily go to a D&D like world and run through like a standard D&D module within a very Adventure Time style campaign.
Okay.
And we've had some like ridiculously like scary horror sessions, and we've had like pulpy ridiculous superhero like sessions, all in the same campaign. So it lends to that well.
Yeah.
But
Damn. Okay.
so I always wonder
Probably
when
why
you're
you've
when
had
you're
so
looking
much
at something.
longevity.
I couldn't tell you. I don't know the magic. I always worry about the bubble bursting. Like, you kind of, when something goes on so long, you're like, oh my gosh, how long can we do this?
I mean, I remember when you told me when that we were talking about your Wikipedia or your website. I didn't realize it'd been that long. There was that much history, to be honest. I knew it was a campaign, but until you mentioned it, I was like, oh, it's been going that long? How? It just
We
seems,
and and I need a couple more players. I'm worried, and
yeah,
that's why
you
I'm like
mentioned.
I'm actively seeking players. But I think my problem now is I'm not gaming enough on other servers, which is where I've pretty much found everybody. I've been gaming somewhere or brought them in on a one shot, and then say, hey, do you want to play in this campaign? And that's where all my players come from.
Mm.
But
Yeah, I'm not in any campaigns. And I have been asked to join some, but I've decided I just can't, I just don't have the commitment levels and don't want to be the square peg saying, no, I can't make it.
no, and that's, you got to
You
know
really
your
have to have the
limitations.
commitment. Yeah, you
Yeah.
have to know that you have to be committed.
Because if people are going to organize their lives around sitting down every week to do something, everybody needs to be committed. Yeah. That
Yeah.
was I mean, we could get talking about drop-in games, but I think we're getting near time. We should think about wrapping up. Let's see, what's a final question I could ask you? What's the one thing about Age of Adventure you wish was different?
One thing about Age of Adventure, the probably character advancement, because it's really Lasers and Feelings at its core is made as a one shot, one play, done. I have with Age of Adventure created some step ups in that you can, with more gold, you can get more things, get magic and that. But one of the things I have been asked, it comes up now and then with players who have played their recurring character for a while, is that okay, how do I advance? How do I get better skills? But the system is not built. The one stat system is not built to really increase your dice pool. And I'm hesitant to as well, because I want a new player to be really as strong as an existing player who's played 30 games. So you don't have that big disparity. But Tavis runs the campaign that I mentioned, and he has probably softened the rules or expanded them to make everyone stronger. Like he's included, as you get more powerful, you can get area effect abilities, whereas at the moment, Age of Adventure's made on, you get one action, it affects one target. If you want to hit, the most you can do is one additional target at a 1 dice penalty, and that's the extent of how the system. So in answer to your question, yeah, maybe that there was an advancement system. I don't have the answer to it because I don't want it to be like an overpowered. I like the low stamina. I like the fact that you can be taken out, that risk of death. But probably, yeah, if there was some sort of advancement system that didn't break it, if that's possible, I probably could look at a lot of the Laser and Feelings hacks and see if there was one that is more campaign oriented. I don't know. That's a good question, though.
See, I don't want to have the last word, but it does make me think about in Faraway Land. I asked not that long ago some of the newer characters that I asked one of the players, what do you find is the difference? Like, do you find it difficult having a first level character when someone else is 6th level? And they said, it's not that they're more powerful. The power level fluctuation doesn't make any difference to them. But what's made the difference is they have more powerful items than I do. And that's where they found the disbalance is that their character didn't have artifacts, because in Faraway Land, of course, there's no +1 magic swords. There's no minute magic items. Everything is an artifact. If you find magic, it's special and unique. And so
what is the difference? Like level 1, level 6, what does that mean for your character? If you didn't have artifacts?
If you didn't have artifacts, it really just means you have if you were level 6, you have 5 more hit points than a level 1, because you get 1 hit point per level. So the power scheme is you still can die in one shot if somebody has a 3d6 attack on you.
Yeah.
The other advantage is that if you're level 1, you're dead at -2, so you can go down to -1 and you're still alive. If you're level 6, you can go down to -6 and still be alive. So not only do you go up in hit points, you can be unconscious.
That's interesting. You're getting a double benefit. 1 point's worth 2.
Yeah.
Why is that? Why don't they just have everyone as negative and just increase? Like, why increase stats both ways? That seems strange.
Oh my gosh, that seems like something we'll have to delve into next time. That's a good question. I think I could answer it, but I think it would take a while to chat about it.
Bookmark it for the next one.
Bookmark that. I'll note that down. You also get a luck, but luck gets burned easily, so it doesn't make a big difference.
Yeah, it's even like some players have said, "Oh no, what about if you get more hero points or more stamina?" That in terms of advancement. But I've just shied away from making it.
It's inventory space. You add inventory space, then someone can have more stuff that makes them more powerful.
Yeah, but someone is actually the last adventure.
If you do that too much for one shots, it's not going to work out, right? What happened last adventure? We'll finish with that.
After we played, some of the players were saying, what can they, because they had a lot of gold, and they were saying they want to get more powerful. Like they either want to get stronger or more powerful, whatever. And I was like, okay, not really designed for that. But one of the players mentioned, he just wants to be able to carry more stuff. And there is there is a bag of holding that you can get as an artifact. And so we're talking about that as a way. And he said it's just so he can hold more items, perhaps by magical. Because he didn't. With Age of Adventure, you buy a magical potion, that's one slot gone. So he was saying,
as long as you wouldn't do something like a ring, right? A ring doesn't take up a slot.
Don't mention the war, Pete. If you're out there, I love you, man. But it's a magic ring. Come on.
Hi, Pete.
Bookmark that. Bookmark.
Will do. All right. Well, this has been Dwight and
Age of Adventure. Signing out.
Cheers, everybody.
That was the show.